Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are going to explore one of the most intriguing aspects of why we struggle with personal growth and those sneaky, invisible habits we have. The ones, the actions we take almost without thinking that later leave us scratching our heads, wondering, why did I do that? That's the one. We've all been there, right? The moment you reach for the phone, planning just to check the time, and suddenly you're 30 minutes deep into a rabbit hole of cat videos and distant acquaintances' vacation photos. Or you find yourself agreeing to a task, even when your internal systems screams no, only to be overwhelmed later. It's like a tiny, invisible autopilot that takes over. Now, traditional wisdom tells us to identify cues and rewards, and yes, that's incredibly valuable. But today, I want to introduce you to a deeper, more subtle player in this game. It's called the temporal dissociation or temporal gap. Now, the temporal dissociation sounds super fancy, but it's really quite simple. And dare I say, a little bit funny when you think about it. Is that subtle, often unconscious disconnect between who you are right now, let's call them the present you, and who you will be just a few minutes or hours from now. So let's call them the future you. So imagine this. So your present you is living life, having a grand old time, making decisions. Future you is the one who has to deal with the consequences of those decisions. So, for our most stubborn, invisible habits, it's almost as if present you is making choices for someone else. Oh, future me can handle that late night. Present me wants one more episode. Or future me can manage the extra snack. Present me is enjoying this right now. And it's not malicious. Present you isn't intentionally sabotaging you or the future you. It's more like a tiny momentary brain glitch where we lose empathy for our own future self. We act as if our future self exists in some distant abstract land, not realizing they're literally around the corner, waiting to take in all the results from our current micro decisions. So that is what temporal dissociation or temporal gap is that difficulty in understanding what our future self feel like. So pause for a moment and consider, can you think of a recent time when your present you made a choice that your future you later had to pay for? Maybe leave it in the comments, things which would come to mind. Maybe just for that instant dopamine hit you have done, and then you had a different feeling when it came out later. It can be reflected in poor impulse control, 100%. That is true. So just take a moment to see what comes up. Maybe nothing comes up. Maybe you are treating your future self with utmost respect. And if that is the case, I invite you to keep doing so. So, this concept of temporal gap helps explain why logic often fails against these invisible habits. The present you knows what's good for your future you. But in the moment of the trigger, that connection just fizzles. So recognizing this fizzle. So the aha moment from this insight isn't just about spotting that habit. It's about recognizing that the precise moment when we break that connection between our present self and the future self. So that microsecond of dissociation or the gap when your brain disconnects from the future consequence. It's often subtle, almost like a mental shrug. It'll be fine. But in that shrug lies the power of this invisible habit. The habit lives in that gap. That is what we are exploring today. So for example, the alarm goes off, and instead of thinking future me needs sleep, I should go to bed now, present me thinks just 5 more minutes of scrolling. Future me will deal with being tired. That's the fizzle. A new email pops up, new notification pops up. Instead of thinking future me needs to focus on the important tasks at hand and need to complete them, I will check the email later. Present me thinks, let me just have a peek. It won't hurt. And that's the fizzle. That's the gap. So, what is the fun part? There's got to be a fun part in this, right? The fun part is once you start looking for this fizzle, it becomes very obvious. It's like if you played that game or whatever, the Finding Waldo or something. It's like finding Waldo in a sea of red and white stripes. Once you see him, you cannot unsee him, correct? So once you notice this, you cannot not notice it. You cannot go back to a state where you are not able to identify this fizzle. So this is why it's very important to practice this. Then you are able to find this moment of the fizzle or the gap. So what do we do? How do we bridge this gap? How do we stop the fizzle and bring the future you back into the room? And the answer, radical future self empathy. This is not about guilt, it's about compassion. It's about consciously extending empathy from your present self to your future self, understanding that they are one and the same. It's about building a sturdy, let's call it a time travel bridge in your mind. So here's the practice I want you to envision. You can close your eyes if that's possible. So next time you find, or you might bring to mind some of the habits you may have done in the past. So identify the trigger. So maybe checking your phone or doing something or walking into the kitchen and opening the fridge. This is a common one. Pinpoint the exact moment just before the invisible habit takes over. When do you grab the phone? When does that thought of a sugary treat pop up? So just noticing. And the micro pause, the question, in that split second before you engage in the old routine, create a tiny gap. It doesn't have to be a long gap. And this is where I think people will make a lot of mistake is they try to sit with it and try to negotiate with that feeling, and it often doesn't work. You try to negotiate out of a feeling, you often lose. So what is the solution? The solution is a micropause. Solution is a question, just a question. In that split second, before you engage in that old routine, create a tiny conscious pause. And in that pause, ask yourself this question, not just intellectually, but with genuine curiosity. What does future me really need from present me right now? Or what does my future need from me right now? And you can even play with this. You can be like, there's an assistant from your future you coming in that moment and asking you, what do you need from future me? Because future me is busy with growth and transformation and changing people's lives. So right now they're busy. So what do you need from me? And then don't just answer the question. Feel the answer. If the invisible habit leads to regret, and that often happens with difficult emotions or difficult habits, like uh, abuse and substance abuse and pornography and things like that, it leads to a lot of regret. Actually, allowing yourself to briefly feel a pang of gentle empathy for that tired, unfulfilled future you. And the future you will be so drained if you keep doing this. And that level of empathy to the present self takes time. So we need to go through the first few steps is identifying the trigger, the micro pause, and the question, what does the future me really need from present me? And then you feel the answer. And if a better choice leads to a positive outcome, example, putting that phone down and reading a book, leading to a peaceful sleep, actively feel that relief. A lot of us do these good habits or change these habits and then do not actually appreciate what that has done for you. So take the moment to really sink it in. Wake up next morning and tell your best friends about this. Like how amazing you felt, how calm you felt by not indulging in that invisible habit. So the satisfaction of that well rested future you. And the well rested future you will be so grateful that they will no longer use this invisible hand or invisible path or invisible habit again because they think that there is another way now. So this practice isn't just about being perfect, it's about creating moment of conscious awareness where previously there was none. It's about increasing empathy to your future self. Each time you do this, you strengthen the time travel bridge. The time travel bridge being the moment between the decision, the present self, and your future self. And you make your future self less of a stranger and more of a cherished friend, and it's become part of you. Now it's working with you, and it's like you're working in a multinational corporation with you and your future you and their assistant, and they're all part of one big family. Of course, your past you is also there. They're all here, but they're all here, and it's like sending a mental care package for your future self. So here, future me, I thought you might like a good night's sleep tonight. So present me is putting the phone away. Future me, I would like you to be well rested, so and well fed and eating healthy, so I will not reach out for that next slice of whatever it is. And I'm not saying food is bad, I'm just saying what is needed for you right now. If you can link it to what your future self will feel, you will make better choices. So, what's the one invisible habit you'd like to address, and how might practicing future self empathy in that crucial trigger moment change your immediate action? These are questions for you to reflect on. Don't overthink it, it's just a quick thought. So, this approach makes personal growth less about willpower battles and more about connection and compassion. So, you're not fighting yourself, And that's often the narratives we've been discussing, we've been shown from when we were young. It's like you have to, yeah, it's like going to a fight with yourself and winning that battle, winning, winning that thing and overcoming it and like showing power and like it's all of that. It works in the short term. Over time, it does not work. Over time, depending on circumstance, it can come back stronger and the fight continues. But if you want to stop fighting with yourself, the one way to do that is to cultivate empathy for your future self. Now, we do this to everyone else. We do this to people, strangers. We do this to news when we read news. We do this to random people on internet, but we fail to do this to ourselves, and that's a shame. Because so much joy and sustainability and enjoyment and everything comes from being your best friend, reuniting your future self with yourself. And remember, in every tiny moment, the present use empathy for your future builds a stronger, more intentional life. So you're not just living in the now, you're actively shaping the then. So I invite you to close your eyes now. So let's do a little bit of a short meditation on this. Let's take a few moments to truly anchor this feeling of future self empathy within you. So I invite you to find a comfortable position, sitting or lying down, however you are feeling. Gently closing your eyes if that's okay. If not, soften your gaze or keep it open. Does not really matter. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. And slowly exhale through your mouth, releasing any tension or distractions. Allow your shoulders to relax and feel your body settle. Do this as many times as you want. Let it settle. Breathing in peace, breathing out anything that doesn't serve you right now. Bring your awareness to your breath, flowing in and out. A steady rhythm that connects you to this present moment. Feel the sensations of the body, the gentle rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. Now, as you are settled, gently, in your mind's eye, bring your future self into this present space. Imagine yourself perhaps at the end of this day or first thing tomorrow. See them having benefited from a choice you made right now with intention and care. Maybe the future you is feeling calm and well rested because the present you chose a peaceful evening. Maybe the future you is feeling accomplished because the present you tackled a daunting task with a tiny intentional step. Maybe the future you is feeling light and free because present you said no when it was needed. And see the details of the future you, the positive future you. What expression is on their face when you do this? How do they carry themselves? What feeling emanates from them? Perhaps it's gratitude, perhaps it's peace, energy, or satisfaction. Now you can imagine a gentle warm light flowing from your heart, from your present self, reaching out and connecting with the heart of your future self. This light is a bridge of compassion, understanding, and care, and everything else else we talked about. So feel this connection strengthening, weaving the present you and the future you together into one cohesive, supportive being. Recognize that every choice you make, no matter how small, no matter how tiny, sends ripples across this bridge, and the future you sending back a feeling of deep appreciation and trust. We often do this to other people, if you have noticed. We often send these bridges to other people and we await their appreciation and trust. So, the same thing we can do with our future self. And hold this feeling of interconnectedness for a few more breaths. Let your future self send back messages of thankfulness, gratitude, appreciation for the things you are going to do for them. Breathe in that sense of unified, empathetic self across time. And as you prepare to live your life, open your eyes, bring this awareness of future self empathy with you. Remember that you're not just living moment to moment, you are building your future self brick by brick with every conscious, compassionate choice. So take one last deep breath in, and as you exhale, gently open your eyes, refreshed, connected, and empowered. And with that, we come to an end of our exploration of this new concept, temporal dissociation or temporal gap, and the power of future self empathy in overcoming these invisible, tricky habits. It's been it's been fascinating journey, moving beyond just what we do to why we do it and how we can foster a deeper connection with ourselves across time. We talked about how those subtle fizzles of connection between present and future you can fuel unconscious patterns, how building this time travel bridge between you and your future self through empathy can transform those moments into conscious choices which help you grow and change and be your full self for the world. And remember, every tiny act of compassion your present self extends to your future self is a powerful step towards the true personal growth and lasting transformation. You're not just breaking a habit, you're strengthening your relationship with yourself. And that's the foundation for all kinds of positive change. So, thank you for listening in. Thank you for practicing. Thank you for taking time out for yourself. And I hope this exploration helped. If you liked it, please come back for more of these. So, thank you. And I will see you again on the next one. This has been Daily Practice with Nikhil. Practice makes progress and much more. I'll see you on the other side.